Yo, 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 what's going on out there? Black Compass Media. Um, Shout out to everybody that's in the society right now, everybody that's tuned in and everything like that. This is the political, this is black politics, this is the political bro show. This is black politics, this is us talking about issues that's relevant to us and our people. I'm not an expert in things, I just give a fuck. And I think giving a fuck is key, right? So that's just where I'm at with it. Shout out to everybody that's out there. This is interactive. Now, there's a lot of political brothers in society. Shout out to the society, in the politics chat and everything like that. So shout out to y'all for really kind of pressing me on this and keeping this thing going. I'm going to take a lot of different perspectives because there's a lot of stuff going on politically and just out here right now, things that are important, right? So I want to draw our attention to, first of all, shout out to Black History Month. You know, there is an effort and there's an agenda to marginalize, to trivialize the value, the meaning of Black history. Black history is American history. Oftentimes, studies of Black history inspire guilt, right? It inspires people it inspires a sense of purpose in a lot of people. I mean, there's good and bad about awareness, right? But I think there's a concentrated effort to marginalize the value, the importance of Black History Month. So I think it's important to go back. So rest in peace, rest in power to Carter G. Woodson, founder of Black History Month, 1926. And actually, Black History Month is in February because the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass in the same week, which were celebrated as holidays for Black people at one point, right? So it was extended from National Achievement Week to Black History Month, and that's where we are today. And I agree, Lord Moon, Black history is world history. Studies of the African diaspora is important. Studies of Black history is important in America because the very founding of America, the laws, the things that we seek to change, often the amenities that we take advantage of are rooted some way. A lot of them are rooted in some way to slavery, to our nation's acceptance of slavery, the institutionalization of slavery, the generational poverty, the generational abuse and oppression of a people, and the laws that come as a result of it. So Black history is important because in learning Black history, you can then venture off into different avenues. That's why it's important. And I hate seeing our people fall complicit into an agenda to trivialize our own history. Why? Why? Why, as a Black person, are you dissing Black History Month? Yes, I get it. And we all said Black History Month, everyone should study Black history. Black people should study our own history because for a while we couldn't learn about ourselves. We didn't know. This is why we should study. This is why we should understand who we are. Because that was taken away from us, and people fought and died for the right to understand this, for this knowledge of self. And we shouldn't take that for granted. And I want to give a quick shout out, and I never shout the Grammys because I hate the Grammys because I hate, hate's a strong word. I can't say hate, but I don't like attempts to, like, I don't measure our achievement as Black people using white metrics, right? The Grammy committee is composed of, admittedly so, older people, like 60-plus-year-old people grading the culture, right? And I mean, I think as Americans, just as people, you should be concerned. Why the fuck in a room of all these people there, these are the people who are evaluating who's the best rapper, the best album. Those are not our people, right? So those awards to me are, I can't dismiss them, but I'm not going to celebrate them. So I appreciate what the folks who won, all the Black people who won, what they said when they got up there. On the one hand, thank you. But on the other hand, this is not a measure of how successful our culture is. Hip hop culture, Black culture is the dominant culture of the day. And don't forget it. And we earn that. Right? We earn that. So that's what I have to say about the Grammys. So shout out to, and I'm not even a fan of a lot of the artists that were getting the awards, but I have to commend them for giving a big middle finger to the Grammy committee as they were accepting their awards. And they're not slick. They cut Drake off. Finally, Drake has something to say that I really want to listen to. I mean, no, I'm playing, but no shots at Drake, but the brother's really not known for substance. But the one time he had something poignant to say, we go right to commercial. You're not slick. I saw it. I synced it with my eyes. But as we, as you know, black people in America, it's important for us to understand our history. It's important for us to evangelize our history in America and never let people forget, the struggles of past and how far we've come. Both of those things in conjunction. So in the backdrop of that, I want to first talk about, and we'll get folks on, because I like to start off with just a little bit, just a sort of level set, right? Because things going on in the news. Right now in the news, you have this impasse. The federal government is trying to decide if it wants to stay open. Donald Trump has his pet project, his wall negotiations where he shut down the government. Now, the deal on the table actually is less than what he shut down the fucking government for in the first place. But I'm going to tell you this right now, and this is just objectively speaking. Donald Trump, if he was not an entitled, wealthy white man, would be an insane pimp. He literally got his supporters to go from build that wall chanting to finish the wall chanting without doing shit. Only a pimp can do that. That's pimp shit. That's a pimp. You got to be a pimp to get that off. You ain't did shit, and you changed the whole slogan. That's crazy. But the deal on the table, right, it gives him less of the wall that he asked for, less appropriation for that. It's a bipartisan deal. So if he goes and he vetoes it, we could be looking at the first presidential override in our lifetime. Now, there's a lot of things unprecedented about this current administration that I think people like myself, our antennas perk up because we haven't seen this level of incompetence. But to our credit as a nation, there are safeguards here that allow us to be able to compensate for the lack of competence in the White House, right? So that's very, very important, right? So that's the big news. Mueller's still doing his thing. Now, Mueller, I'm gonna be honest, at this point, your report is turning into detox. I don't know how it turned into detox. Dr. Dre album, like it's pissing me off. You gotta make with it, son. We gotta get to this. But you're talking about 20 plus felonies, multiple indictments, people in jail. Shit, at this point it's just trite. But man, I could not imagine Barack Obama being in office too much longer with this type of dysfunction. We still haven't filled federal judgeships. We're not even fully staffed as a nation. There are vacancies where there should not be vacancies at this point. So that's something that people need to consider. Now, you had State of the Union. Shout out to Nancy Pelosi. Because, look, I don't agree with all the policies, but I appreciate the gamesmanship. We've worked Donald Trump into such a corner, and personified by this clap. The gif of her clapping at Trump and him nodding it's a perfect American symbol for just getting outclassed politically. That clap, that's the same clap I would give somebody, like, you know how you playing chess and you already beat them, right? You already beat them 5 moves ago, but they take your queen later and they like celebrating and you give them that's that clap. I've already fucked you up. Because now I'll force you in a position where the deal on the table is less than what you fucking shut the shit down in the first place for. And in fact, the deal that you could have gotten before all this happened gave you $25 billion. And if you want to take this step to go for a national emergency in order to get your way, that step right there is unprecedented. That means that, knock on wood, President Gillibrand, President Booker, President Harris, we'll talk about Kamala Harris, but if that person can come in and say, oh, you know what, national emergency, we have a gun problem, we have an opioids problem, we have an infrastructure problem, that's a national emergency now. Let me go ahead and do that, because you're using it for dumb shit, and those things that I listed are actual issues. Actual issues. So you do that if you want to. And to be honest with you, the way that the founders set this thing up, I don't often try to overcredit the founders, because even themselves, they didn't look at themselves as deities. There are actually a lot of holes in the Constitution on purpose. They like, yo, I'm going to let other motherfuckers figure this out. For instance, the presidential powers, the executive powers, there are a lot of vagaries in there. That's why we talk about constitutional crisis. The idea that you can't indict a president is in the because the founders didn't actually think we would elect somebody just fucked up there in office, right? They didn't know how money would affect the whole thing, how lobbying would affect it, right? So there's a lot of holes left in the Constitution for us to fill. And I'm one of those people that believes the Constitution is a living document, right? The preamble to the Constitution is in order to form a more perfect union, meaning we're not there yet. That's foresight. So where I am right now with this country is that we're being buoyed by an effective economy. When I say effective, I mean in terms of, you know, it's not working for everybody. Everybody's not eating, sir. Paid in full scene. I'm not eating. Everybody's not eating. But enough of the right people are doing well enough for it not to be a problem. Our deficit is skyrocketing. Our debt is skyrocketing. Our deficits are record level deficits, but no one talks about that. Generally, when the people who care about that sort of thing have power, they stop caring about that sort of thing. We need to make it more attractive to solve problems than to propose issues. I think that's where we need to get out of. That's how our political system is fucked up. There's no incentive to solve anything if I can continue to run on it. I promise you, if it's President Booker or if it's President Harris or President Villagrosa or President Klobuchar, the deficit is going to come up again. It's going to come up by the same motherfuckers that ballooned it. Figure that out. So that's where we are right now when it comes to politics. I am awaiting a lot of things. Thank God, from a foreign policy perspective, things haven't ballooned out of control. But I think we're going to pay dearly for this in the upcoming years. There's a lot of stuff that we need to fix as a nation. So I just want to, that is my one of my political takes. There's a lot going on with politics, and I do want to shout out Cory Booker for announcing his run at presidency. I'm liking how the field is turning out. I actually like the amount of women here. There's a lot of intersectionality. You have women from the Midwest, women from the coasts that are there. You have black women. You have black men, Hispanic men, all on the Democratic side. And I urge all of my people who vote on this side, make these motherfuckers earn your vote. Make them do it. Make them do it. I'm not going to just vote for you because you're Democrat. Also, you have the Starbucks CEO. I forget his first name, last name Schultz. I don't care to know his fucking name. I'm going to just say this right now. There's no way I'm voting for you, sir. We're not doing this game. He's clearly, we talk about industry plants and battle rap. He's a political plant, clearly. He's just, progressive enough to steal votes from Democrats, but he's not, and he's not conservative enough to steal anything from Trump if Trump, goes and runs. I think he's going to get a challenger from the right, but, it is what it is. We could very well have an election where the person elected wins by 30% of the vote. Then what the fuck are you going to do? So that's the prospects we up against. Another thing that I want to talk about, and I really want people to come up and punch on this thing right here. There is a conversation that played out on national TV between Monique and Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey is currently getting fucking dragged on Twitter. He is getting destroyed on Twitter. Now, as I go back to the conversation now, the focus of the conversation hinged on the fact that Monique was blackballed, right? And she was right about a lot of stuff that she had said. Remember the whole controversy with Netflix and not being paid what you're worth? Her main point was that her integrity is always the central focus. Keeping my integrity, keeping my my stances where I sit. I have to deal with that. I'm going to be consistent on that. That's just where I am. And Steve Harvey is saying, hey, pick your battles. And I think part of it, I think back to my grandfather is like, you know, he would tell me, you know, your moral victories, you can't cash those in to the bank for some monetary value. There's no cash value. There's no dollar amount on a moral victory. Now it's priceless, but there's no dollar amount, right? So sometimes you have to make that sacrifice. I see a lot of people, and I urge my brothers and sisters, like, and this is something that I've grown into as I've gotten older, because young me was a lot more militant, a lot more staunch on my beliefs and things like that. And in college, I had the opportunity to know a lot of very, very smart, very successful, very talented, thoughtful, conservative black people. They exist. By the way, check out someone you want to follow if you want like a different black conservative perspective, Shermichael Singleton. That motherfucker's a star. I think he's very good. So I don't agree with him on too much, but he makes good points. But I'll say this. As black people, we shouldn't be calling each other coons for having different points of view. I see everybody's throwing that out on Steve Harvey. I don't like that, because I understand what he's saying. He's being pragmatic about the situation, which is what a lot of us do in secret. All that sister soldier, all that militant shit, it sounds good in theory, but in practice, it's hard to implement when you have mouths to feed. And that's what his point was. And I don't necessarily disagree with that, but I'm with Monique in a sense. And this is my evolution on this. And this is especially my outlook. And it's been that, you know, probably at the tail end of the year, when it comes to my black women, I'm in y'all corners 100%. I don't think Steve isn't, by the way. I'm just saying I want to advocate more for them because they've been marginalized. They've been systematically abused. And to me, a black woman is the only woman in America that you can treat a certain way. And I don't like that shit. I got friends from other races. You can't even look at some of these sisters. You can't. So I want them same type of rules, that same type of energy for our women. And it starts with us. How can people respect us as a people if we don't respect our women? Period. Maybe that sounds corny to y'all. I don't give a fuck. That's just where I am. As a grown-ass man. But I want to have the conversation with y'all about Monique and Steve Harvey. And I want to offer a special fuck you to Esquire. Esquire did what I think is annoying right now in this post-Trump era. Ever since Trump won, now correct me if I'm wrong here, we keep getting a lecture about middle-class white America. Why? Why? For what? Why do I need a lecture about that? Literally the most entitled, the most privileged, the least vulnerable group in America. I have to get a lecture about them every fucking month. And the worst part about it is my progressive, in quotes, my white liberal, in quotes, folks that are trying so hard to placate, to please these people, right? That you run this expose. Now, the Esquire cover isn't even due out until March, but of course they release it on Black History Month. Of course they do. Because they want to capitalize on our outrage, on our collective outrage. They like that. That's part of the mission. Now, there's been black people who've capitalized on the same thing. Colin Kaepernick, where are you, by the way? Where are you? I haven't heard anything. You won multiple awards. You got a Nike deal. You got a big afro. Where are you? What are you doing? I'm just saying, you monopolize black hysteria too. But Esquire runs this thing, and they throw it out here on Black History Month. I'm just tired of all the I feel like there's this underlying attempt to say, yo, y'all are pussy. What are y'all going to do about it? So I just, that's where I am right now. But those are the central things that I kind of want to talk about. I'll take some people up here. If you are trying to get in on this conversation, give your perspective and things like that, I welcome all perspectives. I welcome all perspectives on this, and I want to hear what y'all have to say. But, you know, for me right now, for me as it stands right now, I'm in a place where I'm skeptical of everything. Everything. Yeah, this Jussie Smollett story. I'm skeptical of everything. I'm sorry. I got to see it. You're not going to get me outraged for nothing. I'm sorry. I don't have the energy to do it. Because remember when, like, every week it seemed like it was a new thing that we were supposed to be boycotting or banning or hashtagging or whatever the fuck. Every week. Every week. I'm over it. I can't do it no more. I can't. Now, shout out to Cade. He posted his Colin Kaepernick in Madagascar teaching football camp to local villages. I'm not moved. I'm sorry. I'm not. That's a nice photo op. He got his hair braided. That's dope. I don't care. I don't care. My friends are outside unemployed getting shot and shit. I don't care about a photo op. I worked as a teacher for a while. I don't give a fuck about a photo op. I would tell my people I work with, y'all want these nice photo ops. We got math to learn. There's algebra that I need to teach these kids. Fuck this photo. And there's another thing too. Shout out to my man Lord Moon. Lord Moon. Gucci, fuck Gucci, and fuck all these. I never understood why we as black people idolize all these European brands. They don't like us. They don't like y'all. The best you can get from European designers is fetishizing. They fetishize our people. We are exotic to them. We are meant to be soulless, lifeless faces, muses. That's it. And until they start to be a part of our movements, to understand the plight of our people, I don't respect them. So no, I'm not surprised about that blackface shit. No. And they knew what the fuck they were doing. They knew. And if they don't know, that's even worse. How about that? So either you ignorant or you fucking racist. Pick one. What do you want to do? So fuck these brand names. Bring back FUBU, nigga. Now, shout out to FUBU. I'm gonna be honest. Probably not gonna wear FUBU, but bring that shit for us, by us. That was fire. Lose that Fat Albert shit though. That shit was whack. But support our people. Our people. Us. Fuck that. I've never been a fan of all these brands. Ferragamo and Gucci and shit like that. For what? For what? Why do you idolize that? Why? I'm a black man. I lift weights, man. Some of that shit, a lot of that shit don't even fit me real. Like, I gotta get this shit tailored anyway. So why the fuck would I idolize that? So all those rappers that idolizing this shit, y'all should feel stupid. Because that's what they've been thinking about you motherfuckers the whole time. You know, I can never understand, right? Like if you get like a crowd of women and a dude walks past you like, y'all bitches is whack. You always got that one girl that's like, he ain't talking about me. That's how you motherfuckers act when shit happens. Yes, nigga, you too. They talk about you too. You're included. That's the type of shit that I'm on. All right. So that, you know, and K, shout out to K for posting. I mean, you got faces, black face slippers. You got a fucking sweater that goes up. Like, we're not playing these games. I'm not urging violence against anybody, but some of these niggas do need to get slapped. I'm sorry. Whatever. Whatever. I said it. I said it. Fuck that. Then you got Representative Omar, who's trying to make a great point about the money, the lobbying money behind Israel. And God forbid you say anything remotely critical about Israel. Wow. I mean, I love my Jewish folks. My boy's having his wedding. He's Jewish, you know what I'm saying? And I fucks with him. But I've made this point to them too. We can't have a fair conversation about the Middle East, because anytime you bring up anything about Israel's influence in the region and the resources that they have and the fact that they're starving a whole group of people on the other side, you get met with you're anti-Semitic. How? I want those people who are also there to have a good quality of life too. That's what I want. So I'm not, and that government that's running Israel is right wing. That's a right wing government. All the policies. So I don't respect it. I do not respect it at all. Yeah, I mean, look. I'm a black man. It seems like people just get to say whatever. Every time something happens, we get a lecture about our culture, right? When are we gonna get a culture about white America and white kids just shooting motherfuckers? Like, where's that lecture, Esquire? Because this American boy that you got in this cover is the same. He looks a lot like some of these motherfuckers that do this other shit. This shooting motherfuckers indiscriminately at high schools. That's what he looked like to me. Where's that lecture? The overuse of opioids, which predominantly affect white middle class, middle America. Where's that lecture? Where is it? Because I haven't heard it. So fuck that. I'm gonna say what I want. So shout out to Representative Omar in Minnesota and everybody that's out there giving that sister a hard time for what? Your fucking president shut down your government to build a wall to keep people out of our country, and we fucked their country up. We did it. Why you think they coming here? Why? So fuck that. That's where I am. And that's how I want to start this shit off. So if you out there right now, you trying to jump on here, let me know. I will tag you in and shit like that. I see my boy MVP. I see Cade up here and shit like that. Coco. Let's talk, man. Let's talk. And DJ, JD, I'm right there with you. I hate our side sometimes because we go so hard on our own to try to prove that we not. But you got a whole racist. Steve King has been saying racist shit for years. For years. And he finally said something so crazy that y'all, what do y'all do? He didn't resign. He didn't resign. That motherfucker just took off a couple committees. He just came out and said some more racist shit. But y'all want to attack a freshman senator who said something inartful on Twitter. Really? Really? Fuck out of here. So let's talk though, man. Who is trying to get up here first? You know what I'm saying? Like we'll talk about some things, and we'll get to it because I want to get perspectives on what y'all think about this whole Steve Harvey Monique thing, because I think it's a poignant conversation. It's an important conversation to have. I am glad that conversation played out in America, like on national TV, so other folks can see it, because that is a conversation that I've been privy to at countless family barbecues and so on. So the idea of sacrificing your integrity for money, and when it's time to do that. Yeah, millionaire mindset. You ain't know about this, Tone, did you? Yeah. I'm supposed to be Carlton up here, right? You ain't know about this shit, did you? Yeah, let's talk. But who wants to get up first? I see y'all talking in the chat and everything like that. Let's bring the dialogue here. Let's talk about it. All right. All right. My man Captain say I'm on some Tavis Smiley shit. Shout out to Tavis Smiley. He gets a lot of flack, but I think he's dope. I don't agree with him on a lot of shit. He was banging super hard on Obama. That shit was weird to me, but But let's talk, man. Who wants to get up here first? Let's see. Brothers is scared to talk. Okay, all right, Tone. Do the political show, Tone. Do the show. It's gonna be dope, Tone. But as the brothers tag me and everything, I think we actually have a room on some wanna call up shit. I haven't seen that. I'm just looking at the main chat here. So but let's get some folks up here and talk about some things and stuff like that. And I tell you what too, and because I know that there's a lot of people that aren't into a lot of the political talk for whatever reason. Maybe they feel like it's just all a game and shit like that. But this stuff to me matters, man. It definitely matters. Again, I just feel like there's a concerted effort to shut down powerful black voices across the world. Across the world. So even somebody as nice, as pure, as wholesome as Rep Omar is being looked at as some violent, militant, racist. Like, for what? For what? But then, yeah, Lord Moon hit me up. The Discord link is in the description box. Hit that up. Yo, Ted, appreciate it. For the $9 solely for the opening. Classic intro tone, bro. Talk that shit. I appreciate that shit. They're asking me what I think about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She's a fucking queen. If she's in my presence, she won't pay for any drinks ever. Keep talking that shit. Keep talking. Because the thing I never like about our side, our progressive side, is that, and I made this analogy last show, we're weird with power. When the GOP gets power, they do what the fuck they want. And they will tell you the elections have consequences and eat a dick on the way out. And they do what they want. When we get power, we act like the kid who's ashamed of their dad's new car. Like, Dad, drop me off on the block because I don't want the kids to know that we do really well. That's whack. I never understood. I grew up poor, so I don't understand this mentality. But this is the problem I have. So I like AOC. I like her ideas. I think a lot of them are starting points. I think they're starting points. They're negotiation points. Let's start here and let's work our way towards something right. But why not do a Green New Deal? Why not make college free for everyone? Tell me why it can't happen. How about that? Give me a good rebuttal. Because I don't see none. All I see is a bunch of people criticizing, but how many people are actually going to do the math and tell me what works out? Because shit, if it ain't all of what she wants, maybe it's a pared down version. That's cool. But it's so far to the left that in order to negotiate, you're going to have to move that motherfucker. You know what I mean? You got to really go in there and dig deep. But these are all starting points. Bring in those progressive ideas. The country has always taken chances. It's only up until like the 1980s where we stopped taking chances as a nation. The Great Society, we took a chance. Desegregating the military, we took a chance with Truman. We took a chance with Eisenhower on the interstate highway system. We took a chance with FDR on Medicare and Social Security. We took chances. We don't take chances anymore. We try to preserve the status quo on all sides. Just today, there was one of the foreign policy advisors for the Trump administration said, we done a lot of fuck shit in other places, so the murder of Jamal Khashoggi doesn't matter. In effect, that's what he said. Rand Paul said the same exact shit when he was running for president, and that got him up out of here. Why is that? Why do you think that is? Interesting to say the least. Let me get the first person up here. Always outspoken, intelligent brother. Got me saying the N-word a lot less. I will give him his credit on this. Lord Moon, what's going on, bro?
What's happening?
You sound like you're in a cave, a very deep, dark cave. What's up?
Is it better?
Yeah, better. Well, let's talk.
What's happening, brother?
Hey man, I'm doing all right. You see me, I'm passionate. People, people
Yeah, bro.
be,
I
when
see
people be
you,
like,
bro.
people be like, yo, you mad? I'm like, yes, I'm mad. Yes, I'm fucking mad. Yes.
Bro, any black person that's in even a little bit in the know should have like a little chip on their shoulder.
Right. Right. I agree. If you're black and you are just happy, something's wrong.
Yeah.
You don't know enough. But Lord Moon, give me your perspective on things. What's up? Talk to me.
Well, to be 100% honest with you, bro, I didn't even know what was going on with the Monique and Steve Harvey thing.
Okay. You didn't know what was going on. You didn't know. Because basically he's on some. Hey, you got to do what you got to do. Pick your battles, feed your family, prosper. And she's like, my integrity is paramount to who I am. It's that classic struggle, right? That's where the conversation was directed. And Steve Harvey's getting a lot of flack because they're like, yo, he's basically telling her that she got to bow down to Massa.
Well, given Steve Harvey's his past, the things he was into, like the who was that female he stuck up for, Paula Dean?
Yeah, Paula Dean,
and all that kind of. Yeah, he stuck up for her. So he already has kind of like a bad rapport with black people, bro.
Right.
So it didn't really take much to set people off when it comes to Steve Harvey.
Yeah, it was already some leftover energy for him. I think that again, I hate calling another black person a coon, especially when company's around, white folk. Like I don't do that. No, absolutely not. So, I think the way that Steve Harvey's the rap that they're giving him is a little bit unfair. What do you think about this Esquire cover? Black History Month and the way things are being portrayed in the public sphere. What do you think of it? You tend to have strong opinions on this stuff. So what do you think?
Well, I didn't know about the Esquire thing either, bro. Be honest with you.
This is what we here for. They ran a cover called American Boy featuring a basic straight white man whose biggest worries were who he was going to date and his favorite sneakers.
Okay. Well, what that says to me, bro, is it should prove to people what I've already been kind of on the last, 10 years. Mm-hmm. Like if people aren't about black empowerment in 2019, mm-hmm. they're your enemy. Mm. They're against you. Mm. If you're not for black empowerment 2019, you're my enemy, bro.
Mm. Right.
And that's really how black people need to kind of operate, bro, because we don't really have any friends. There's no friends in this war. Everybody's looking out for themselves except for black people. And if you haven't noticed, black people are the only people who have to give up everything about their culture, but nobody else has to be. Everybody else's culture is exclusive to them.
Let's talk about it. Right?
And I can't stand that shit, bro. That shit is sickening. Whenever the people come over to our culture, all of a sudden it's our culture. It's everybody's, but everybody else is still exclusive to them.
Yeah,
I can't go to an Arab and feel like I'm included. I can't go to an Asian and feel like I'm included. They're gonna look at me as an outsider.
And even if they're polite to you, even if they welcome, they will always remind you that you are not one of them. You're not.
Always. You're always gonna be that. I don't like saying it, but you're always gonna be that nigga.
You know what, Lord Moon? I walked out of Diversity Day at work. I did a couple months ago. Walked out. I'm not doing this. I am not here to placate your white guilt. I'm not here for that. I'm not here to be put on the spot about black things. I come from a tough neighborhood, and I come from a place that I don't want to talk to you about it. You're not qualified for me to have this conversation because it's going to be uncomfortable. I told my manager, I'm like, whatever I have to say is going to offend a lot of people. So unless we're okay with that, I need to get the fuck out of here. And I left.
Most definitely, bro.
Because the way I feel about Diversity Day, I feel like everybody should be uncomfortable in this motherfucker. How come I'm the one that's uncomfortable? And I'm dark skinned, so you can't even see a nigga really blush or turn red or no shit. Yeah, I just gotta sit there and take it. No, fuck that. Figure out how to make this shit right, and then include me.
bro, it's never going to be right. Nobody wants to look at their culture and say, you know what? At the dawn of my culture, black people were there.
Right.
When I go back in time and look at my history, I'm gonna find a black face, no matter where I look.
Yeah.
That pisses people off.
Yeah. And shout out to Ted for the $2. Remind you, Steve took a picture with Trump. Now, black people who support Trump, always interesting to me. What are your thoughts on black conservatives, people who support Trumps and things like that? What do you think?
Well, I don't judge people like I don't put people in groups. Like if I hear how you feel or what you believe in, I'm not gonna say, oh, you're a conservative, so and dismiss you into that group. You know what I'm saying? I take each person individually.
Okay.
But everybody that supports Trump, bro, it's how could you do that? He kind of blatantly doesn't like black people. He blatantly has no respect for women. It's just, I don't know. How could you support Trump?
And before because I'm gonna keep you on, I'm gonna put MVP on too. But before we get MVP on, I want to ask you. I mean, there was a different type of energy for Trump. I mean, I remember constant references in hip hop songs, and Trump was, like he was seen as this paragon of like success, even amongst our people. Were we wrong in that? Were we duped? Were we victims of the same type of ignorance that led us to buy all this Gucci and Versace? What's your thoughts on that? The energy switch.
I mean, when you say that, what do you mean? I'm sorry.
Because we seem to support the man. Like we had him all over there were songs after him. He was constantly name dropped in records. Like then he becomes president and the energy switches.
Oh, I mean, I think back then he was just kind of like a novelty. He was kind of like a token or something. Like he was just used as the status for success or for money because we don't want to look at we never excuse me, we didn't have any black people to look at, I guess.
Okay.
But the thing is, the only thing I can say that I don't want it to be taken the wrong way, but the only thing I can say that I like about Trump is that he's him.
He's himself.
He's himself. I mean, if I was a white guy, that's who I would want. So I would want somebody black that's like Trump. You know what I mean?
Okay. And I'm going to challenge this just real quick. MVP, I got you. I'm gonna make this point. I'm gonna plug you in. But now we as black people, would we have allowed President Obama to just be relaxed in himself? Because I feel like his behavior is a reflection of internalized concepts of what it's like to be a leader from a European standpoint. And oftentimes our people, we don't even consider shit. If I come in there and I talk in regular vernacular that we use in a board meeting with all black people, they're going to look at me crazy. Why would they look at me crazy with that? Right? So you think voters would have accepted, black voters would have accepted Obama that was just loose and with the people? What do you think?
Yes and no, man. I mean, you can't even, black people don't really like when people stand up and say I'm black, which is why Obama never did it.
Talk about it.
That, I mean, if he stood up, which is why Kamala Harris is not doing it. If you stand up and say I'm black and I'm proud, that turns people off, even a lot of black people. Because black people don't want to be reminded that they're black.
And you know the fucked up thing about that is that an Italian person be like, yo, I'm Italian. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And it's like, it's all love.
I have to ask a Mexican if he's Mexican. He's gonna let me know. Just like if we had a Mexican president, you don't have to ask if he's Mexican. You're gonna see Mexican flags everywhere. He's gonna be speaking Spanish. He's gonna be speaking to his people. He's gonna be doing things, signing things into order for his people and his people specifically.
I think a Hispanic president would have a very tough time. A very tough time.
No, bro, because his community can openly embrace him.
I think first of all,
he can openly embrace his community.
A Hispanic president would only probably get maybe half the Hispanic vote. I don't know why it's like this, but the community is so divided. I think that would happen.
It depends on how white he looks. I know that sounds crazy, but it depends on how white he looks and comes off.
Does not sound crazy. The Castro brothers of Villagrosa, they are light skinned Hispanic folk, right? So it's a different type of energy for them. That's true. But and shout out to Making Moves Major, the Hispanic community is fragmented, and there are a lot of conservatives there. There are a lot of people who support what Trump is doing and his entire agenda. So it's interesting,
bro. I meant to say that, like, bro. The thing about the wall, man, like I don't know how to feel about that, bro, because I mean a lot of those Mexicans, bro, they don't like black people. So I mean, I'm supposed to fight for your rights or be sad for your rights when you get over here, you're gonna get better treatment and treat me like shit.
Okay. I've heard this perspective, and I do think I'm one of those, like, well, what's next? If I let you get this wall off, what's gonna happen next? You know what I mean? But let me get MVP in. MVP's been waiting. My bro MVP, what's going on, man? MVP, you unmuted.
What's up, Black Compass? Tony, bro, you got me? Man. I'm good.
Yes, sir. I got you.
Shout out Black Compass. Shout out Black History Month for my brothers out there. A couple of names I want to mention because they go Father, Max's, and Martin Luther King. Shout out W.B. Du Bois, Booker T. Washington, Marcus Garvey. And especially shout out Carter G. Woodson. For y'all who don't know, he the reason we got a Black History Month. So shout out Carter G. Woodson. Do your history on him. For the ladies, shout out Ida B. Wells. Shout out Madam C.J. Walker. Because, you know, they only talk about Rosa Parks.
Shirley Chisholm.
Yeah. So that's a fact. Just some honorable names. Shout out Black History Month.
Rest in peace to the ancestors, bro.
That's a fact.
Yeah, rest in peace to the fallen ones. That's a fact.
So MVP, talk to me, because you are, you know what I'm saying, we've talked on the off the court on some things, and I think you're a little younger than some of the demographics we have. What do you think? I mean, do you know about this Monique Steve Harvey conversation or the Esquire cover? Like, what's your perspectives on what's going on out here?
Thanks for the rollout, because like you just said, since I'm younger, I personally stay away from like TV and cable TV and stuff like that. So when I just tuned in to you, I just heard about it because I'd rather hear about it from my people in the way we break down the scenarios than to just hear what happened nationally in the way they just feed it to me on television. So it's like whatever news they put out about it on TV, I don't know, but I do know about what I hear from here on YouTube.
Yeah. So what do you think about, like, because the current situation right now, where we are sort of at an impasse as a people. I know you probably saw the Grammys and the things like that. Like, how do you feel about the way the culture is being perceived in like mainstream media? Like, what do you think as a younger Black man?
Me personally, I think it's kind of corny, especially that my generation let it get away with it, because you can blatantly see what's going on in the media. And so I think we got enough powerful Black people with enough money in the media that could do stuff for our culture and that could get back to it. But it's like it's only a handful that say stuff, but they don't point you to the right information you need to make the stances you need. So it's like it's a lot of brainwashing stuff going on in the media that's getting our people with rhythm music.
The brainwashing in the media, and this is for both of y'all, Moon and for MVP. Do you think the brainwashing, are we complicit in that agenda as Black people? Like, why does it seem like a nigga could just start a hashtag and then we just own it? Like, I feel like we're so easily distracted. What do you think about that? What do you guys think about that? I'll start with Laura Moon first. What do you think?
Well, I mean, hashtags are easy. It kind of gets your message out there, and I mean, you don't have to do anything. You just pick your phone up and press a couple buttons, and then you feel like you did something. You don't have to. I don't have to change my lifestyle. I don't have to do anything. I think that fits the generation. This generation is just pick up my phone and do something. That's me fighting the opposition.
Okay. MVP, what do you think?
I 100% agree with him low key, because it's like from everything with technology to the way we learn today, they treating us to make stuff easier for us. So I feel like just getting up and, like he said, making a hashtag or something like that, that's the easy thing to do, because you're using somebody else's thoughts and their ideas. So it's like you handicapping yourself. So if you can just share a hashtag easily instead of coming up with something creative of your own, to me personally. That's why I stick away from it.
I agree. The hashtag activism definitely has to stop. The need to have a phone everywhere. Like I did some protesting in college, and I got arrested, got my ass whooped too, doing some shit. But there was okay. I didn't have it like, let me pull out my cell phone and go viral. Like that's not that was never in my head, right? Or any of the other people getting pepper sprayed and getting their asses whooped. But I don't know how we got to that point where everything needs to be a moment, right? It needs to be a hot take. Why is that? And I'm directing this towards you, MVP, because your generation seems to thrive on hot takes and viral clips and memes. So why is that? There's no action, I feel like.
I ain't gonna lie to you, Tony, bro, and that's why I live, like you said.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait a minute.
Scenes, so it's like, even you got me.
Yeah, I got you now. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was saying, like, the way my mind was led to our conversations, our scenes and stuff like that. You feel me? So me personally, like, I believe in hot takes. Like I gave some of the big homies examples earlier, and battle rap or for sports. I believe in hot takes. But when you talk stuff like politics and religion and real life stuff, I don't believe in hot takes. And I feel like if I could give an example, my generation don't know how to separate music from real life. That's why, for instance, I'm from Chicago. You got people trying to drill music and drill rap all over the world.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to separate what we actually living and going through. That's real life. They don't know how to separate it from the actual music. You feel me?
Right.
So it's like when you get the hot takes, it's easy to run with it because it's like, oh, I run with the hot take when I watch Skip and Shannon and when I watch Max Kellerman, so I can do it with real life. When to me, that's not what you do at all.
MVP, you're from Chicago, and I just want to say that DJ Academics made a whole career capitalizing off of Chicago's collective pain and outrage. That to me is a disgrace. I hate DJ Academics. I hate what he represents. He monetized black pain. I don't like that. So how do you when Vic Mensa was turning up, I'm like, please hit him. Please. For all of us. Because I don't like I think that's crazy. But what do you think as somebody who's there?
I know you don't like to use the word, brother, but I think that's the perfect example of a coon. Because you had an example.
Yeah, let's talk.
That's the perfect, because it's like, you even, like, I have no problem, say, if you outside the city and you doing something to help, like you shedding light to what's happening. He cracking jokes, like, say for me, instance, when I first heard of Academics, I thought he was at least from the suburbs of out here, because he knew a lot what was going on, or he was piecing stuff together. But when you see the way he try and act like he know who killed who and he know what's going on, then you all the way from New Jersey, and then you actually get to a bigger light, and then you don't bring these artists as you was blogging and making your lit lively. You shed no life on them. You running around with Tekashi type of niggas while niggas still dying in the street out here. So it's like, you a coon and a cornball if you ever and for doing stuff like that. And it's a reason why Chicago niggas want to do what they want to do to them, because that ain't cool at all, with brother.
Yeah. I agree. Laura Moon, what do you think?
I think that, I mean, it's part of this generation having no connection to the past, bro. Nobody feels, there's no, I mean, for lack of a better word, there's no OGs. There's no elders to come and say, hey, this is what you should be doing. Yeah, you don't need to be doing this. You don't need to be doing that. There's no connection to, nobody listens to old music. Nobody knows any old artists. It's almost like hip hop just started like 10, 15 years ago.
It's like we dismissed them, and I hear that, and I know the brother probably does a lot for Chicago, man, but Common, like, that you know what I'm saying? That's an OG's OG, been out here, kept in Chicago the whole time, and you know what I'm saying? And it's hard to be like, damn, you should be doing more. Because I don't want to judge the man like that, but it's like, fuck, like, you know what I'm saying? We need that. We need that energy. You know what I mean?
But even if he came out, bro, these youngsters aren't going to listen to him.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we're at, bro. These youngsters are running wild, and they don't.
Wait a minute. You cut out, Moon. I think Moon might have got a phone call here.
All right. I was going to say, I was going to chime in on that. I think that's kind of why it's even more messed up, though, when you are older, brother, and you got that mentality. I think regardless of what it is, at the end of the day, young men, if you look at it as a grown man, I say kids at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I feel like you should make it your conscious effort because like y'all said, the youth is y'all future. So it's like I'm trying to make it better for my kids and y'all kids and the next kids generation. Yeah. But when there's a discommunication with me, somebody only 10 years older than me, because you act like you don't know what I've been through, you feel me? So it's like that's the way the young mind go work. Because either for a fact, I know you've been through what I've been through, or you acting like just because you struggled in your lifetime, I need to struggle in mine to see what it's like. And to me, that's where the disconnect comes from. When you come from a point where you talking down and I can look at you like, but my nigga, you ain't made it nowhere.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I think that's where it come in. I think like for me to like that, and that's just me, I feel like it's kind of y'all job for like the older brothers to reach down to the younger generation. Like it ain't y'all ain't they daddies, but you should damn near treat it like it because some of y'all got a lot of knowledge that y'all could spread. And once we hear it, regardless if we don't act like we heard it in y'all face, it's something to go home and think about.
Right. Let me do this, brothers. I'm going to get some other voices in and everything, man. I appreciate y'all coming up and shedding light on a few things, you know what I mean? Especially because I feel like, you know, MVP, you know, coming from a younger cast perspective, I want that. Like, I need that. So, you know, continue to work out, you know, call and all that, and we'll chop it up because I want to have you on here regularly because you have that foresight as a young person, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I appreciate that.
We'll continue to build, and you know what I mean. And Lord Moon, as always, I appreciate you, brother.
Hey, as always, appreciate you, bro. Man. Black Compass up.
No doubt, man. That's real shit right there.
Love.
Word, man. So shout out to them, and I'm gonna get BLK on. I'm gonna get Keystone on. So BLK is unmuted, and then I got the brother Keystone. Keystone is unmuted as well. Yo, BLK, what up?
Yo, what's going on, Tony, bro? Salute to the platform. Salute to Black History Month. Everybody, even salute to you. You're a black man giving us a platform to express our concerns and opinions. And I just want to personally thank you from the bottom of the heart because not too many black men would do that for our generation and our younger generation. So salute to you. Salute to you.
No doubt, man. That's paying it forward, man. That's what we're supposed to do. And then I got Keystone too. Keystone, you good? What's up?
What's up, bro? What's going on, brother?
Ain't nothing much, man. Chi-Town, man. What's up,
man? In the build. I just want, like I said, man, appreciate you. Like this brother just said, appreciate you doing this 100%, bro. Like for real, man. Like for real. This mean a lot though. Like it mean a lot. Like a lot of people in here, man. Like, cause like
that's a fact.
You don't get this kind of stuff. And like to piggyback off what MVP was saying, man, like it's kind of hard out here, man. You know what I'm saying? I know it's hard. It's hard everywhere. Don't get me wrong. It's hard everywhere.
That's a fact.
Like me being a 39-year-old brother, man, for me to go talk to somebody that's like maybe 20 years old. My oldest son, 20, man. So like for me to say something to him, and he's not even a street guy. He's in college and everything. So I'm just thanking God that he don't even run down that path that I went down. You see what I'm saying? When I was younger, because it's hard to even talk to young guys out here.
That's
now, MVP, he made a point. He said the young guys, even if you say something to them, they will look at you like you crazy out here.
Yeah, bro. Okay, and I'm gonna ask both of y'all. I'll start with BLK and Keystone. You guys this too. How the fuck do I reach him, man? Because I see him in the barbershop. I fuck with him. I talk to him about sports because, you know, that'll get him triggered and shit. You know what I'm saying? I do the whole back in my day, you know, whatever. And then we start to get to the gyms. You feel what I'm saying? And sometimes the gyms don't get the same type of energy. So, BLK, in your experience, like what? Yeah, let's talk about it. Go ahead.
This is how I do it because me and MV touched on many a times. And for him to be a young dude, understanding, I'm 35 years old. So for him to understand what I'm saying to him and have that mature mindset of that he has to be able to understand and grasp what I'm saying to him and hold on tight to it. A lot of young people is not willing to learn. A lot of young people think that they know it all, and they ain't got to hear shit else where everybody say, like, you know how like that bad little dude, that bad little boy that be on your block or whatever, and then we like, yo, stop doing this and stop doing that. They be like, whatever, old man. And then something happens to him, and then they be like, yo, you was right from the whole beginning. Like, we not saying things to downgrade you as a person or a human being in society. We trying to bring you up, and so you won't hit those targets that we hit when we was coming up, that we don't want nobody else to hit from our younger generation to go through that. And that's what I'm thinking is wrong with a lot of young people, is they don't want to listen and they don't want to learn. Because once you get to a point where you stop learning, you are dead from society.
Interesting. Okay.
That's a fact.
Keystone, what do you think out in Chicago, talking to them young boys with the dreads and all that, listening to the musics? What's up, man?
Like, only thing, like honestly, I mean, I could just like piggyback off what bro's saying, man. It's hard, man. And then to be honest with you, it's not like when I was coming up and I was in my neighborhood. I grew up on 84th and Vincennes. All the Chicago people out there don't know the South Side, 84th and Vincennes, and the Stone Terrace. Like, bro, when I was little, if I didn't do a certain thing, I got my ass kicked by my neighbor.
Yeah.
See, I can't go outside. I can't go outside and kick a little 13-year-old, 15-year-old ass because they doing something wrong, or they stealing out of the store, because I might get shot the next day.
That's a fact. Yeah.
That's a fact.
Little niggas will shoot you. Yeah, they will.
That's a fact.
It's a big difference now. It's a big difference nowadays. See, look, I had okay, it's crazy. I was at my girl crib, before we was living together. I was at my girl crib. We first got together, and she had it was a corner store across the way from her. She lived in Roseland. Roseland is like out in the hundreds. They call it the Wild Hundreds out here, whatever. And I went across the street to the liquor store, bro, and it was like 5 little guys in there. And they was like, the little neighborhood, it was a stone neighborhood, black stones. I don't know if y'all, Tony, bro, you might not.
I know.
Yeah, that's what I grew up as. When I was in the street game, I was a Blackstone. Okay. I was in the store, bro. Like, just a little store. I was in the store. And 5 little guys walk in, and one guy like shoulder bumped me like hard as shit, bro. Like, this was like a couple years back, bro.
Yeah.
And I just looked at him like, damn, do I get jumped on by these 5 little brothers?
Yeah. Like, what do I do, right? Yeah, exactly.
So this is what I did. I just looked at him, and then the other guy, one of his friends that had a little sense, was like, man, that's a grown man. Say excuse me or something. Little buddy said, nah, man, F him, blah, blah, blah. He said what he wanted to say. And I said, it's cool, little homie. So like about 3 weeks later, bro, I caught the same little guy that shoulder bumped me in the store by himself, bro, in the back of the store. So I had to get him. I ain't beat him up or nothing. I just grabbed him up. I was like, now you see you by yourself, right? Yeah. And I just like pretty much let him know I can do anything I want to do to you right now. And these people in this store they won't do nothing about it. You'll just be another dead man in the store if I want to do something to you. And it scared them so bad, bro, because a lot of these little young cats out here, they scared, bro.
Scared
That's
as
why
hell.
They got a lot of these guns.
But see, here's the thing. Let
me piggyback on something, Tony, bro. Let me piggyback on something too.
Sure.
Television is our worst enemy.
Facts.
It's our worst enemy. Television is our worst enemy. If these young cats out here can stop watching TV and stop imitating what they see on TV, like these young thugs and Lil Pumps and all these rappers that's coming out in this generation, if they can stop acting like they really tough, because when we catch them by themselves, they are not really with the shits at all.
They are not with it.
No,
at all.
No. This generation don't scrap out. Our generation, we used to fight, and you fight like a man, and then you know what I'm saying, whatever, like,
and you take that L, you take that dub. Either way,
but I fall like a man. You know what I'm saying? So, but are we? Let me ask y'all this, because y'all both we in the same age range, and everything, but now, do you think we too hard on the generation? We don't give them enough credit for the things that they do well.
No, not at all.
Let me get this first. Was the older generation before us was harder on us? I think they was harder on us because they was telling me stuff like when I was a young guy. They were telling me, don't do this, Don't go out here in the street by yourself without a ratchet. This, that, and third. Don't do this. Don't do that. And as a young guy, I'll be like, I'm tired of these old niggas telling me what to do all the time.
Yeah.
I'm sick of this shit. And this, that, and third. But at the same time, you got to humble yourself and understand, like, these dudes are really looking after for you. Mm-hmm. So, yes, we need to put pressure on them, but we're going to call it tough love.
But see, the thing about it is, brother, and the thing about it, Tony, bro, like real shit, like, bro, when you do that and you use, let's just say, how we having an intelligent conversation right now. If I use one word that young guy don't like, it's a chance that, like I said, I can get shot the next day.
Yeah.
Now, see,
right.
Look, this is the thing. I think about shit like that because, like I said, I have a 20-year-old that's not in the street. I have a 16-year-old daughter that's in high school. She's not in the street, straight A student. And I have a 6-year-old son. So guess what? I ain't trying to die because I'm trying to save somebody else's child.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Right.
So look, this is the thing. The only thing that I can do is what I've been doing. I go down a little push coalition down there on Drexler. I talk to them sometimes, tell them, okay, yeah, I used to drive with 18-wheeler, and now I'm doing this. I work at the electrician school. They accept the applications. It's a good job. It's a good career to have. Young black brothers need to start looking into being electricians. The only thing I can do is teach them what I know. But by me being in the street and just going to work or just happen to run across certain people or certain young guys that act like they act, sometimes you got to take one of their heads off. That's just how it is.
I will push back just a little bit, and I'll say, as someone who taught kids for a couple years and things like that, and mentored and things like that, I do feel like sometimes our generation need to shut the fuck up and just listen to what they got going on, because I think sometimes we do trivialize what they have, and the generation before did that to us. But all the struggles are relative, right? So if a young boy comes up to me and says, "Yo, I'm mad at homie because he commented this and that on my picture and whatever," I might hear that and I'm like, "Oh, that's some bullshit." But then I'm trying to I'm really getting to know him, and he telling me like, "Yo, you know what I'm saying? I got, I really do a lot to try to work on my appearance, and it's really important to me and my aesthetic. And you don't understand, Tone, it's 100 pictures of everybody online, all my friends and shit like that. It's a whole social dynamic behind this media, and I'm really starting to understand it. Like, I can see why that shit put him in that place." You know what I'm saying? I think there's a lack of empathy amongst OGs.
At the same time, Tony, bro, we OGs in the game. Mm-hmm. So at the same time, we don't know everything about the game. And some of the youth out here, like when I was talking to MVP, you can learn something from the youth as well.
Hell yeah.
And if you shut down yourself from learning from a young person, it's the same fate as like not learning anything at all. You dead to society. So we can learn something from the young people.
It's kind of like, bro, it's kind of like this. I kind of got the best of both worlds because I was raised, I was in the street, and then I got out of the street. But then I got a son that's not in the street, but then I got nephews that are in the street and they're in the street deep. So I kind of got the best of both worlds. So I sit back, we have our family functions, we'll throw the football around, we'll barbecue, we'll laugh, and these little guys, they'll smoke their little weed and everything, and I'm not mad at them because I used to do the same thing, but I do sit back and listen. And to be honest with you, it's just certain things that as us being OGs, we just cannot correct either.
That's a fact.
Seriously.
That's a fact. That's a fact because it belongs to the youth. No matter
what we say, we just cannot correct it because like Tony Bro just said, oh, this guy just said something under my picture on Instagram or whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
bro. When we was coming up, I ain't worried about nobody saying under no picture because my pictures were school pictures that my mama paid for.
Yeah.
And another thing. Yeah. When we was young, I think most of our OGs told us never tell another man how you feel. Because they can use that against you.
They always did, especially out here.
That's a fact. That is a fact. That's how I grew up too.
That's one thing I don't like about the younger generation is they always say, I feel like, yo, who cares how you feel?
Right.
If you feel something strongly about it, the best thing to do something is to do something.
And be okay. I do gotta. That's the one thing, because look, I always say this to people. We often think that our childhood and the way that we was raised, we look upon it with a rose-colored glass with nostalgia about things and back in my day and whatever. I think that is the thing that if I could take something in my past and kind of take that away, that's something I would have changed. I mean, a lot of us should have spoke up. A lot of us should have, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of us should have said, yo, I'm going through something, or man, some days I feel good, other days I don't feel quite right. Bro, you might be bipolar, man. You snapped on me the other day. You good? Nah, I'm happy.
But
it's certain things that we should have, I wish we would have opened up a little bit about that instead of just dismissing it like, nah, man, that's just crazy Marcus. Like, that, no, he's bipolar, my nigga. That's an actual thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think this generation is a little bit more cognizant of that, and I give them credit for that. That is a thing, you know?
Okay.
So and that's something that I got from listening to them. You know what I'm saying? And they actually got at me on that. I'm like, well, they're talking about depression. I'm like, man, I had depression and insomnia in high school. They're like, well, what you do about it? I'm like, well, nigga, I just stayed up. I studied and try to get some pussy. I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't go, you know.
Like other niggas supposed to, right?
Yeah, but I should have gotten my shit together. It took till I got to college to actually do something about my condition. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, Tony, bro, I'm not in the same condition as you is, but I went through the same thing you went through because I had feelings and emotions in my heart that I wanted to break out, but at the same time, I didn't know how to share those feelings with another man.
Right.
I
Because growing up, keep it real, growing up, that was gay, right? We made everything gay.
That's a fact.
Being smart was gay.
That's a fact.
Sharing your feelings is gay. Gay.
To be honest with you, but see, this the thing. To be honest with y'all, the thing is, our uncles, our fathers, if we had our fathers in our life, but when our uncles came around, or our older cousins that might have been older than us, a generation older, they put that on us like, oh man, shut up, nigga, that's gay.
Gay, straight up. Like my pops, rest in peace to my dad. I was trying to open up to him about, look, when I was younger, I had acne fucking terribly. My skin's nice now, but bruh, you remember those Star Crunches? Like, you remember the Star Crunches by the store?
You ain't got to tell me, bro.
And nigga, it used to look like it was volcanoes erupting on the side of my, I'm like, and I come to my dad, I'm, tears in my eyes, like, yo, like, this is, you know what I'm saying, it's really fucking with me. You just need to get you some pussy, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Drink this, put some hair on your chest. Like, that wasn't it. That's not what I needed, my nigga. That's not what I needed.
Look, check it out. It was always passive when it came to our fathers. See, look, I was shit. I fucking had a whole son, and my daughter was like 2 years old, and my daddy was like in jail before I even talked to that dude. You see what I'm saying? Like, so, like, dude was never around. I remember him buying me a fire truck when I was like maybe 7, bro. Like, I wasn't even playing with fire trucks. By that time, I was off the porch. You see what I'm saying? Like, like for real, I was like out there.
So, and to tell you about my pops, I didn't see my pops until I graduated. That was the first time that I saw him. And not only that, I spent time with him, in my early adulthood life before he died. He passed away about like 12 years ago. But at the same time, he missed a lot. He missed a lot with me. But at the same time, we redeemed our relationship when I became an adult because I actually figured out what's going on or what happened between him and my mother, which, you know how baby mamas do.
Right.
You know how they do. He's the child, it was the same situation. So I had no parts in that. You know what I'm saying? So
okay, let me ask you a question. Like, for anybody that's young that's listening to us, because I kind of can guarantee that we went through the same thing. When you finally set eyes on your father and you finally was able to give your father a hug, what was the first thing that you did?
Thank you.
Well, you said thank you, but you cried, didn't you? Just like a baby, didn't you?
Yes, I did. That was a very emotional moment.
I did. I
swear. That was a very emotional moment. I crossed the stage. I crossed the stage in graduation. The first thing I saw was him right there waiting for me.
Bro,
that was a beautiful situation.
Hey, bro, I cried like a baby, bro. I cried like a fucking baby.
You couldn't stop me from crying,
bro.
And then I had some girls that wanted to give me some pussy that day, and I couldn't even do it because my eyes was full of tears. I was
just kept thinking about your old man, like really.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
Let me do something real quick. I want to do something very quickly. I want to get MVP back on because you guys were talking about like the young boys and shit like that. So we'll have that real quick, and then I'm gonna get Coco on, and then I'm gonna get Boomer on with Cade, and then we'll wrap up. All right. So I'm gonna get MVP on right now. Okay. MVP, what's up, bro?
Yo, what's up? Hey, Keystone, if I chimed in, did you have something for me? I had seen you added me in the chat and shit.
You said no, I don't. No. I was just saying I like how you came in when you was showing the respect, bro. To the people.
Absolutely, big bro. Yeah. What I was finna say, it was a couple things y'all said that I have for you agree with. It's like, do y'all? It's a question first. Do y'all agree with like the stances, like let's say one everybody know Martin Luther King and Malcolm X took?
Do I agree with them?
I agree with that. Like, I don't agree with their lifestyle.
Not their whole lifestyle, just the stance alone.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And while I was going with that,
hold on. Let me ask one quick. So when you say the stance, do you say the stance of like, okay, Martin Luther King was like, okay, we're going to be a people, and everybody's going to be a people together. Let's turn the other cheek. And then Malcolm X was like, hold on. Malcolm X was like, brother, if you slap me, I'm going to slap you back. Well, is that what you asking me?
No. Not whose side you'll pick. Just they stance as I'm standing for black people. Our people need rights, and I'm willing to fight and die for these rights.
Yeah, I definitely stand for that.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Where I was going with that was, it's like those powerful black men in our history, the key words was they willing to die for it. And it's like, I heard of a couple of examples y'all gave where situations that could be life-threatening, and I completely respect that because I'm young and I got 3 little boys I got to take care of myself. So it's like, I want to be here for them as much as possible. But at the end of the day, like for powerful alpha, and I could hear it in y'all voices, Tony Bros, for powerful alpha males, we got to be willing to stand on the front line and die for what we know right at the end of the day.
Because this is one thing I can say. Like MVP, I definitely agree with you. And one thing that I am always and will always be willing to do is, if we're going to go out as older black men and rally up some younger black men, and we're going to go stand over here and we're going to talk and have a barbecue, and we're going to try to reach everybody, and we're going to do this for the schools, and we're going to do this for the young black men in the community, I'm willing to do that. But when I go into a liquor store just to go get a Coca-Cola and 5 young guys but bump up against, I'm not going to die that day for that.
I completely that's completely understandable.
This is what I'm saying though. But if I'm standing in the park and there's 5 older black gentlemen and they got 10 younger black men that actually want to learn something and actually want to listen, and we're going to listen to them, and somebody come past and say, if y'all don't get y'all ass out this park, I'm going to kill something, then they going to have to kill all us because I ain't going nowhere because I'm standing with these young brothers. That's what I'm going to do.
That's a fact. I agree with that. I agree with that. Because I'm not going to sit here and die for nothing. Right. I'm not going to sit here and die for nothing. I'm not going to die for some stupidity type joint. If we all in agreement to we're going to become a unity, or we're going to become as one, and then somebody trying to break that up, no, I'm not leaving. If you're going to kill me, kill me.
Right.
I'm not committing suicide. Yeah, you're going to have to do that.
You got to do something to all of us. That's how I feel.
You got to do something to all of us. That's a fact.
Yeah,
fellas, gentlemen, I appreciate this convo. I think it's necessary, generational, it's dope. Crossing a lot of different lines and everything. I'm gonna switch up. I'm gonna get a couple other people on some different topics. But
salute for that. Salute for that.
Bro, I appreciate that, man.
Yo, this was ill right here. This is the type of dialogues that we need. You know what I mean? Just as a community. You know what I mean? Especially as black men. BLK, salute. You know what I'm saying? My Chicago boys, man. Keystone and MVP, man. Salute to y'all too, man. Really appreciate it.
Salute, bro. Salute.
No doubt, man.
Yep. Salute, Tony.
My man's. All right, so I'm gonna get Coco on now. Coco wants to talk about Dreamers, about the wall, about 21. We're gonna talk. All right. So Coco, what up?
Hi.
What's going on?
For one, we're in the chat. Everybody was talking about the wall. Then 21 Savage came up as a dreamer, and I don't know if it's because people see him now like as well. Everybody thought he was American, a black man in the U.S., and we found out he's from Britain, Great Britain, where he's from,
Dominica.
England.
I think he's from
Dominica.
I think he's from Dominica, and which is a English, that like England kind of owns that basically. So yeah, he's a UK national. Is what they're saying. Mm-hmm.
So my issue is if you don't know, I'm Puerto Rican. I'm very prominent in the Hispanic community when it comes to activism. I'm really big on it in Philadelphia. I stand with dreamers. Now, I'm from Puerto Rico, so I'm not a dreamer. I was born in the U.S., and my family is part of U.S. territory. But I grew up in a community where I know a lot of dreamers that spend a lot of money trying to fix their status, that are afraid that they're going to get deported. It's something I deal with on a daily basis in my career and with my friends. And for me, I guess when that whole situation hit the fan and I found out that he was a dreamer, it kind of pissed me off because at the end of the day,
let's talk about it.
He had the best opportunity to fix his status, to fix a big ass issue when it comes to the visas in the Dreamers program, and he didn't. And instead, he decided to become a rapper. Cool. You had the best platform to speak out on it. And instead of you speaking out, getting a lawyer and fixing it like he should have did, he didn't. He smoked. He made these stupid ass songs. I'm not a 21 Savage fan.
I like 21. I ain't gonna hold you, but
I don't. But my whole thing is, from the outsider looking in, he had the best opportunity to really be a spokesperson for the Dreamers program and to really put his best foot forward and say, listen.
Wow.
And that's what bothers me because I see the black community now like feel some type of way about the Dreamers program and about what happened to him. And it's like, this is what the Hispanic community deals with all the time. This is what we deal with. I have friends that are literally getting deported and they've been here since they were 1 and 2 years old.
Crazy.
Like, I have people I went to high school with and college with that have to deal with that and spend a lot of money really trying to fix it. And he had the money to fix his status and he didn't. So no, I'm not going to bat an eye. No, I don't feel bad for him. He has kids here. So what? He had the opportunity to fix it and he didn't. I'm not saying ICE was wrong or wasn't wrong because we know ICE lies. We know ICE sets traps up.
Oh, yeah.
And because he knew that,
for sure.
He knew that. You knew that your status was fucked up. Sorry, cursing. I know we're live.
No, it's always, whatever. I don't care.
You knew that your status was fucked up, and you knew, and you still didn't care. You were still traveling outside the U.S. ICE let him hang himself. ICE watched him do everything he did before they showed up for him.
Right.
And all he did was make a worse case for himself. Instead of getting a lawyer and being like, listen, I know my status is bad. I know my visa is bad. I know it expired. I know I'm not doing nothing productive because he wasn't. And that's the problem with the Dreamers program. He wasn't in school. He didn't have a valid job. He didn't have no type of valid standing in the U.S.
Yeah, and you know what, and that was my whole thing when it happened was, you remember on the last show, I went from angry at what happened to angry at him. Nigga, fix that. Like you have the means to fix this, and you know how America likes people with money anyway. You could have fixed this situation, But I do think, what I don't like, and what I'm wary about is the what they're trying to do with the Black and Hispanic communities and drive a wedge between marginalized people. You always have to be aware of when people in power try to cast these divisions and create these gaps between us
right now.
Yeah.
And I agree. Like, I agree that first off, we talked about this before. I believe that Hispanic people are still considered Black.
Yes, still Black.
We're still a minority, and we still have the same root. I believe that. My problem is when shit like this happens, people tend to put that divide, and they're like, "Oh, Hispanics and 21 Savage, all of us, we're all separate," and it's like we're not, because look, clearly y'all dealing with the same thing we're dealing with now.
And let me I'm going to put my devil's advocate hat on, and I'm going to challenge you on a few things, my sister. And I do this with love.
You're fine.
All right. So I'm going to do this. Why should America allow these people to stay when the people that are here, that were born here, we can barely take care of?
But the problem is we can't take care of. You know how much money we spend on weapons, on defense, that we have a surplus that are going to military forces that we don't need to use.
Yeah, but shouldn't that money be reappropriated to other marginalized people who've been here, generationally oppressed?
We should. We should. The problem is, even if we take a percentage of that money, and put it into our communities, put it into a better programming for education, so that the people that have been here can expand and be properly educated, so that we're not ignorant and not knowing how to really, educate ourselves and really be out of this poverty-stricken lifestyle. Even if we take a percentage of that, we still have a percentage to help dreamers. I'm not saying, people that are coming here that are crossing the borders and committed crimes, I believe they should be sent back. Okay. I'm talking about the people that are brought here as babies that are stuck because they didn't have a choice to come over here.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. So as much money as we have in the U.S., we can share it. We can split it up and truly put back into our communities and put back into our nation, but we don't.
So what is the compromise then? What is because okay, now what does a compromise look like to you? Do I let everyone stay first and then secure the border, or do I secure the border first and let everyone? What do you want to do first? What do you think should be done first?
So my biggest thing with the border is a lot of people don't know that people are still coming in from Canada. People are still coming in from the different sides of the U.S. The border is only a certain part of the U.S. that's being covered. People are still coming in on boats. So even if we focus on the border in Mexico, people are still coming in.
But I mean, you're making the perfect the enemy of the good here, right? So like with gun control, we talk about background checks and things like that. It's not a complete deterrent. Niggas is still gonna get shot, but we have some sort of deterrent, right? So, why would you not have something there to solidify the border, at least to put people at ease about the influx of immigrants?
No, I agree. I feel like instead of rebuilding a new wall, work on your security plan, because their plan in motion is literally just somebody walking back and forth, and it's people on cars. Like I've seen the border. Like I've seen the border in the Canadian border, and I've seen the border in Mexico. So instead of building a brand new wall, spending money, reinforce that wall. Do a better plan.
So
because it's not going to fix nothing.
So I do imagine a scenario where you do say, okay, now, and this is I'm still devil's advocate mode, but I'm being rational here. A deal that said all the people that are here can stay and come out of the shadows, and I'm also building a wall. I'm fortifying the border, so I make it harder for entry. Now, those people that come out of the shadows now, those people that work at the restaurants and Trump's country club and so on and so forth, what do I do with those people now? I incorporate them into the public safety net. I give them all the different amenities. How do I do that as a nation when we can barely do that for the people that have been here? Like,
wait, repeat that. I'm sorry.
Like
I'm reading the chat.
Like, how do I, if I can't even take care of the people who've been here generationally, if, for instance, a deal was struck to keep all the people here that have been here, like you said, born from birth, whatever, and their whole families now get to come out of the shadows, people that we've unaccounted for. How do I now take care of those people? What do I do?
See, the problem is a lot of those people are already putting back in our communities. A lot of them still pay taxes. You may not believe that, but they do. They don't even collect on welfare. They can't collect on SSI because they don't have, Social Security and all that. But a lot of them put back in our community. And that, I feel like that's a catch-22 because I could make up a proposal and be like, this is what we can do, but it's going to be hard because we don't know how many people are actually in the shadows not being accounted for. So for me, I honestly can't say I know a plan to really do that, because no matter what, somebody's going to be uncomfortable, especially people that don't feel like they deserve to be treated as you a citizen and deserve the help.
Well, okay. So then what about the people that say, why would we incorporate these people when they come over? They're unskilled. They don't have the ability to speak English, nor do they want to, and nor do they want to assimilate into the American, in quotes, lifestyle.
But how do you know?
Why would I allow them here?
How do you know that?
Well, when folks come over here from other countries, typically, they form their own, their little something, little Mexico, little Colombia, little Venezuela. If we're trying to bring other folks together and bring our people together, why would I allow an influx of that? Why would I allow people to come here and to be segmented communities? Right? There are whole communities in America that you can't even enter, really, because every street sign is in another language and all the people don't even care to assimilate to the American lifestyle.
But what's the American lifestyle? Because we don't even have a national language. Like we don't have, like, America is not a melting pot. America is a tossed salad. We have communities all over the U.S. that are segregated, not because we chose it, but because people feel comfortable going to these neighborhoods. So
I should allow more segregation. I should allow these people to come over, form their own.
But if we welcome more people with open arms, they will feel more comfortable coming into the U.S. and assimilating instead of going to where they feel comfortable. We're not a welcoming country. As much as we want to think we are, we're not.
We are the most welcoming country in the world. Nope. Is there's a country more welcoming than America?
I've been to a lot of countries, actually.
I have too. They fucking hated me.
I don't think so.
They didn't like me at all. I went places where there are other people darker than me. They didn't like my ass. No. I went to Spain. They didn't like me too much.
Listen, I've been there and they don't like me either. And I'm Puerto Rican and I speak Spanish.
Yeah.
So for me, I guess everybody, has different, different situations and different,
Yeah.
For me, I've been to Mexico, I've been to Panama, I've been to Costa Rica. I've been to a lot of different Spanish-speaking countries only because I had the privilege to go into a high school that was a predominantly Hispanic high school, and we traveled a lot. So for me, I witnessed, the beauty of those different cultures and the friendliness and welcomeness. So for me, I know that they want to be welcomed, but when they get here, they're told to speak English right away. They don't even have the chance to really learn the language before they're like, no.
What about people of Asian descent? I mean, they've come here. They typically come here. They a lot of them already know English, and they don't seem to have the barriers there to assimilating to, this quote American lifestyle, meaning the basic inclusion, the basic assimilation into, whether it's public amenities, public schools, and things of that nature. We don't see that with the Hispanic populations and a lot of the African populations as well, which I don't know why they don't get lumped into there, but like African immigrants and Caribbean, even Haitian Americans.
I mean, even when it comes to those type of immigration, like, I don't know if people know this, but there's a bill that was passed that, when certain countries come in and want to start a business, they get a business loan.
They get a business loan. That's a fact. Yep.
That's why you see so many of these Asian, restaurants and Asian stores, because they get these business loans. They got a certain amount of time to pay it back, and then they're cut off. So then they keep the store, and then they bring another family member out. And that's how their store stays afloat, and they keep on getting these business loans. A lot of Hispanic people do not even have the privilege of getting that loan. Yeah. So honestly, even when it comes to that aspect, we're separated because we don't have that privilege.
I agree. I personally agree, but I do have to play devil's advocate, and I'm going to say this too. The black people who are apprehensive about the influx of immigrants from Spanish-speaking countries, part of the apprehension is because they're racist. They don't like us.
I've said that though before.
Yeah, but so then Coco, how do but then folks like you who are here, who they do accept, how come there's no effort to help them bridge the gap, to be a part of this melting pot and understand the plight of oppressed people in this nation? Like, why is there no effort there, right?
See, I feel like me and you talked about this before. A lot of it has to do with not even Black people. It has to do with colorism in the Hispanic community.
Yeah, right.
Because from a very young age, we're taught that darker skin is not beautiful, and I don't have that ideology. I had the privilege of growing up in a family that didn't believe that shit. My dad is dark skinned. My dad's side of the family is very dark skinned. I'm very fair skinned because of my mom's side. So for me, I grew up in a mixture. But a lot of the Spanish community, and that goes for Dominican Republic, that goes for Puerto Rico, that goes for Panama, a lot of them have mixed feelings because it's deep-rooted racism and colorism that we don't even realize. When you come to the U.S. and you start forming your opinions, you realize that that's deep-rooted and it's hard to break out now. The younger generation are starting to realize it. So a lot of times we clash with the older generation. And this is me talking to my great-grandfather who's still alive. Yeah. Even him as a dark-skinned man is in denial that, we have ancestry from Africa.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? I am at a point now where, this is for me, I think it would put a lot more people at ease if, especially Black people, because it's like, look, I've heard them say this. At first, it struck me, and I wanted to punch them in the face. But then I was hearing stuff out, and they're saying, look, if I already know that these constructs exist where they don't even like us, right? Like, they're the marginalized, oppressed people, right? Trying to come over here, and why would I advocate for them when at the same time I'm advocating for them, they look at me as less than them, and they're fucked up. So why would I allow them to be here? Why would I support that? That's the point that they're trying to get at. Like, we're Black people here, and yes, Black people get behind something. We know shit moves because our voices are fucking loud. But then when our issues happen, it's like the Hispanic community rallies behind that, right?
I mean, I can't agree. I can't agree only because I grew up in an urban setting, so for us it's a little different. Yeah. Like, I'm from the northeast part of America, so we are a little bit more together. But I would argue that my brothers out in Texas and my brothers in California, when something happens and it's a Black person, Hispanic people will read the news. Oh, Black, okay, cool. So why the fuck would I allow more of those types of people in the country? Bruh, honestly, it's hard to say because I agree. I really agree that a lot of times people turn their head and don't want to speak up for somebody else, especially if it is not like directly involving your community, so to say. And it happens a lot because it happens more than we believe it. Like, and this happened in Philly where situations where Hispanic men have been killed, and it's like he's not Black, so. And it's vice versa, and
that's crazy. I personally hate that because we're all marginalized people, and we don't. I don't think we do ourselves any favors trying to separate us when the folks in power all look at us the same anyway. And I just wish that somebody, when the folks are crossing the border, lets them know that this is a construct that we're working with. No, I'm just saying, the quick educational course. You're Hispanic, but they definitely think you're a nigga. Like, they definitely think you're like me. I just want you to know, they look at us all like niggas. Like me, my my Dominican homeboy, my very, very incredibly fair-skinned Puerto Rican homie.
We all
in the car.
Like we all are.
We all got called niggas by the cops, and they beat our asses together.
Oh, I know.
So. And and it was funny because before that we had a conversation about the fact that the homie looked white and was Puerto Rican, and niggas was mad because he was saying nigga. So, and we all got our ass whooped by the same cops, and they all called us niggas. That's the shit I need people to understand when they come here. That's my only point.
No, I agree with that. That's the problem. Like I have no problem agreeing with that because I truly believe that the Hispanic community has a problem with admitting that we all niggas. Like at the end of the day, to white people, we all look the same. And that's the same thing with Hispanic people. To white people, they can't even differentiate between a Dominican, a Mexican, you know, a Peruvian, and a Puerto Rican. They don't know what's what. But they can tell what kind of dog you got.
Yeah.
And what cheese you eating.
Coco, let me do this. I'm gonna get Boomer on because he wanted to talk about this 21 thing too.
Okay,
on top of this, and then we'll do that. And Boomer, what's up, bro? You are unmuted, Boomer. Boomer is unmuted.
You gotta unmute yourself probably.
Yeah, you gotta tag the brother, tell him to unmute himself.
There
he is.
Hey, bro.
My bad.
What's going on, sir?
What's going on, sis? Man, I'm chilling, man. I just had one question for Coco. When you brought up the 21 Savage situation earlier, you said, you know, there was things that he could have done, you know, for himself to kind of, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, I'm kind of paraphrasing, you let me know if I'm correct. Basically that he could have done things earlier for himself to kind of hinder or prevent this situation from occurring. Yeah. Is that kind of like what you're getting at?
Yeah, I did see your comment that you said he had a lawyer and his application been pending for 4 years, right?
Right.
Yeah, so, and I read that. I did read that, but go ahead.
No, I'm just asking. So, is it because he had money that he's supposed to?
Because a lot of people don't notice unless you do that application. It costs a lot of money to become a citizen.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fees. There's a lot of like applications you have to do. And from my understanding, when I read his article, he already started the process. My issue was, instead of staying on the straight and narrow, he was still doing what he wanted to do. And when you're in the spotlight, you're going to have a magnifying glass on you, especially because he's a celebrity. He may not think so because they don't say nothing. ICE doesn't say nothing. They just had they were just sending out job applications and a fake college to, like, they set you up, and that's what they do. And my issue with him was he knew that he had issues with his application. He knew that he was having issues with his status, and instead of staying on the straight and narrow and speaking out on it and letting people know, like, yo, this is what I'm dealing with on an everyday basis. This is something real. This is something that's big in the U.S. He did it. He still was traveling outside the U.S. when he wasn't supposed to. He still was, you know, doing a lot of stuff he wasn't supposed to. He was like, he had a lot of different, you know, issues. And instead of trying to stay on the straight and narrow, he did it. He felt like he was immune to it, and he didn't have to suffer any type of consequences, even though his stuff was pending.
So when you say, so I'm just clarifying to make sure. So I guess I'm kind of fucking with what you talk about. When you say stay on the straight and narrow, you simply mean as far as, nigga, you should have been staying your ass where you at. All this traveling and stuff like that.
Or just, I mean, how powerful Boomer would have been. You know, niggas jump on live to do all type of shit. Smoke weed, put money to their ear. If he was filling out those apps for real, and he, like, does a live, like, bruh, like, I'm trying to talk like 21 Savage, man. I'm trying to fill out these applications, man. A nigga really come from another country, man. This shit crazy. And he show all the paperwork, the fees.
Yo, so much respect, man.
It would have been, and that's a 5-minute video. It would have went super viral. Now we got a face. We have a young man that's made something of himself, an entrepreneur, you know, successful, and this is what motherfuckers go through. He's not exempt. He's still a marginalized person. He could have done that. That's easy. It's easy. So that's my frustration. And I think that's part of what Coco's trying to say too.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm not saying I don't feel bad for him, because I do, because he was uprooted. He's been here a very long time. I'm saying he knew his situation. He knew it for the last 4 years. And instead of staying on the straight and narrow, he did what he wanted to do. And he could have advocated for dreamers, and he didn't.
That's a fact. But
he could have done that.
You're absolutely right about that. I'm not disputing that. My question is, because another brother even said it in the chat, and I was even thinking this to myself when he said it. I don't believe 21 Savage has ever traveled outside of the U.S. So was he not supposed to travel at all?
Well, he was running around smoking weed and shit, and I'm pretty sure he was like he was doing some bullshit. He was doing some bullshit. He was, yeah.
Look, Tony, bro, I'm not denying that.
Yeah.
I'm not disputing that at all. He definitely could have advocated instead of doing all the bullshit and posting little dumb shit on Instagrams and social media and all that. I'm with y'all on that. My question is the straight and narrow as far as traveling. He hasn't been outside of the U.S., so is he not supposed to travel either? Because I'm really just getting hip in school because I'm not really big on the immigration thing. So when you say the eyes are on you, is he not supposed? Because I'm 95% positive he's never been outside of the U.S.
Yeah,
the spotlight has been on him.
But most, I mean, I know some people here that are here illegally. They barely even fucking come outside. Like they don't even like to be around. G, like the life of an illegal immigrant is in America is crazy. Like it's crazy. It is crazy.
So regardless, he was doing too much.
He was doing. I mean, he should have got his paperwork in order clearly. Right, and you have the means to do it, and then I feel what Coco's saying about the advocacy, because it's like if I struggle with Crohn's disease, right, and I have a platform and I have a following, and I don't say anything about it. I'm putting it's like put a face to it. When you put a face to it, you normalize it. And someone like me says I have Crohn's. Other black men, and you know how we are, we don't like to talk about our ailments at all. Other people like, yo, bro, I got fucking Crohn's too, or I just found out I got that shit, or let me go get checked out, or something like that. You can influence people to get their shit together.
But Tone, let me ask you this. I agree. You got the Jay-Z's, you got the Diddy's out there of the world who have a certain amount of power to put their face on something and make shit shift, make shit move. Was 21 Savage ever really in a position to do that?
I think so. I'm not gonna underestimate that man's power. I mean, how many times we've seen the viral tweets? We got hit records. Like, yeah, if he says like Future to me doesn't get enough credit for talking about depression, but like there's a way to use your platform to speak your truth, and there's a lot of people that want to hear that shit, bruh. He could have done that. Yes, 21 Savage is capable of doing that. I believe it.
I hear y'all. I got y'all.
Shit, I don't like to. This is one thing I don't do. I don't like to underestimate our power as a people. Like our power as a people. Like the things that we say, the things that we do. Right, as a people that get co-opted in society, man. Like that, we are the trendsetters. We are the people on the front lines of the culture. Like our culture is the dominant culture of the fucking day. We have to use that shit. We got to.
That's a fact.
So
no. I just wanted to chime in. I like I said, I'm not very astute on the immigration thing. I just had some questions about it.
Yeah,
I do want to clarify. I reread my article, and he didn't travel outside of the U.S. The last red flag was over the summer. He pulled out a gun during a pool party, and he already was fighting like 6 felonies for gun and drug charges.
What are you doing? Hopefully that brother figures it out, because I want to see what he does in the post game. So Coco, it's probably still some hope for 21. You know what I'm saying? So
I hope so. I mean, I will say I don't want him to be deported only because he does have kids.
He got kids. That's the other part too. Like you got kids, and he cares about. He clearly. He takes care of his fucking kids, right? So, I can see if he was just out here on some bullshit, but he's very active in his kids' lives. He talks about it all the time. So, but yo, I'm actually gonna close this out very soon. Boomer, appreciate you, Coco, as always. Keep talking, keep speaking your truth. It's important to me that you do that. You know what I'm saying? So
no problem.
That's right. So salute, man. Shout out to Philly, and everybody who's listening. This is dope, man. I'm and none of this is designed for you to agree with everything that's going on or what's being said, different point of views. But I like for folks to know the different perspectives, and we're a thinking community. We're a smart community. We have talents and we have gifts. We need to understand that. We need to appreciate ourselves as black people. Teach your kids about our history, the history of this country. We built this motherfucker for free. This is our shit. We entitled to everything this country affords. Everything and more. You don't forget that shit. Never. So with that being said, man, Salute to my black people, my descendants of the African diaspora, all the allies out there, all the people who see the injustices, the systematic oppression, the generational poverty, and want to do something about it. Salute to all of you. I love you all. Thank you.